this is Jerry Greyhawk. And on the other side here is Robert Baldeagle. And this is Margie Baldeagle. It's a pleasure to have you all. And could you tell us, Margie, a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. We're a Red Storm Drum Dance Troupe. We're a Native American educational program. We do a lot of different schools ranging from pre-K all the way up to universities. And our main purpose is to bring a little of our culture into the classrooms to give the students a better understanding of the Native American culture. We also do this through having the students participate in our dancing and our storytelling.
That's wonderful. That sounds really, really wonderful. Do you explain to them, for example, about how you use everything? Like, say, when you, for example, there would be a hunting of deer for food. Do you go into that and do you show them?
Well, part of that is done through our storytelling. We have a storytelling of how the drum came about, and which again the students also participate and actually act it out.
Oh,
and
great.
To summarize the story a little, it's the first time this young man went out hunting, and when he skinned the deer, it kind of tore, and instead of bringing it back with him, he tossed it aside. And when he went back to the village, you know, meat was great, but the mother asked, "Where's the skin? We waste nothing." So yeah, we do try to bring that into our teachings, so far as, you know, you reusing everything you possibly can, no matter how insignificant you may think it is.
And that is so apropos, it's so timely in terms of this is, there's so much waste going on, and I think consciousness is rising in terms of needing to recycle and to reuse everything. So this is beautiful. And also I'm interested in the role of women in Native American culture. Can you say anything about that?
Well, you know, it varies from tribe to tribe, but mostly women in the tribe are held in high regard because, like the Creator, in a sense, they create life. So they're looked upon almost, you know, in a mystical way. That, you know, here they are bringing life into the world. So they are held in high regard for that. Also, there are tribes where if there is something going on and the warriors bring it to the chief, they will sit in council. But before any decision is made, it is brought to what most tribes will call the clan mothers and talked out amongst them, with them, and the decision from them is the one that they will most likely go with.
Oh, okay. I thought you mentioned to me once about this expression, life givers versus life takers. Could you, and also about divorce? I was interested in that too. Go ahead.
Well. Should we be sitting here?
Where that conversation came up about was with our traditional drum. There are family drums. There are certain women drums. But most of the drums, the powwow drums and whatnot, are men drums that women are not allowed to play on. They can sit behind the drum with their legs away from the drum and sing with the men. Now the purpose for this is because it's the warriors, those that take life, that are on that drum, where the women are those who give life. So to put it in a simple term, the two magics or the two spiritualisms really shouldn't mix.
Oh.
So they're just kept separate in that way, yeah. Though there were in tribes women warriors.
There were?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Matter of fact, one of the things that history don't teach you is that it was a Cheyenne woman that
Really?
killed Custer.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And there were women that within the village that carried knives and were taught how to protect the village while the men were out hunting, in case there were raids, whether it be from other tribes or later on the cavalry or the European settlers. So they were trained also how to fight, but only in necessity.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. And also you had mentioned, because we're here to dispel a lot of myths, a lot of misconceptions. You had talked to me about that here in Staten Island, some kind of battle had taken place, and because a Native American woman had picked a peach from a tree. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the wars were considered the Peachtree Wars, or the Whiskey Wars, or the Pig Wars.
And when did this happen?
Had to be the early 1600s, maybe.
In Staten Island.
Right here on Staten Island. Now you have to understand why people don't know so much about this. First of all, is because we tend to focus on what they call recent history, which is more of the West. This was way before the battles between the Americans and the Indians out west.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the first areas to be fully, settled like that. What it was knowing natives, you have to understand they didn't understand people owning land. We never owned it. We used it,
Right.
we respected it, but it wasn't ours to own, nor did they understand barriers, fences, whatever. And as it goes, is this young woman saw a peach tree. So she went for a peach and was literally shot out of the tree.
Wow.
For this. And it
That's
was,
unbelievable.
they say that this is one of the reasons for one of the bloodiest Native American battles. And it, like I said, that part of that history was forgotten.
So much like that is forgotten.
Right, because it wasn't recorded. It's not recorded by natives. Natives didn't use written word. It was done by stories, by telling of what happened.
Right.
So it was never really written.
Well, we need to hear these stories. It's very important to hear these stories and to set things right.
I mean, you can find some information about it on, the internet, the new smoke signals, but
The new smoke signals. I like that. Okay, before we finish, just two little things. First, could you mention the sweat lodge and what that is exactly?
I guess the simplest way to explain a sweat lodge, it's similar to the Christian church. It's a place where before they even enter the sweat lodge, they cleanse their bodies through fasting, through prayer. And then within the sweat lodge, it's a place for them, if there's an issue in their family or an illness or a confusion, even, as slight as a confusion of mind, that they will go into the sweat lodges.
Oh.
And it is through prayer and serious thought, whether they get a vision or they're able to even self-clean their mind. So it's very similar to a church, just done in a simpler way.
That sounds beautiful. Truly beautiful. Where you can get peace of mind and clarity.
And you have to go in cleansed. And you come out just as cleansed.
I love that. I love that. And I want to ask you. You say you were telling me you are mostly Lenape Indian. I'm looking at you. You have light eyes. You have yellow white hair, and
that's age.
And yet, okay, explain this to me about your skin and your hair and your eyes.
I am Lenape and Irish. Obviously, you can tell I'm Irish, right?
Yes, that's what I would have thought.
Well, there is a large misconception, and again, that comes through the recent history, the history of the natives out west, where it's hotter, the sun, where the natives out here, there were some that were redheads and blondes and light brunettes, and yes, they were dark. But if you do your research, you'll see up in Canada, there is a tribe of Lenape blood that do have blondes, blue-eyed, redheads with green eyes. Oh, redheads.
And this isn't from mixing with the Caucasians?
There is that possibility because, again, even before it was settled here, there was a lot of trade with the Dutch, with the so there is that possibility. There was never any records kept of that.
Right.
Especially
of course not.
Especially with the Native Americans.
Right.
They didn't separate blood. They didn't separate color. We were all one.
Oh, you were all one, no matter color. And I just want to say, look at the variety in color here. And skin color, that's amazing.
Well, how boring would it be if we all looked alike?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Ask the Chinese.
And could you repeat what a divorce is like in a Native American home?
Poor Robert.
For this, I will. I'm gonna go stand over here.
Back then we didn't have courts and we didn't have
You didn't have courts.
we didn't have courts or divorce lawyers. Back then we all went into a lodge and we all spoke about it really. But if just so happens you did something really wrong to the one that you're with, from coming home from a battle or hunting or something, you found your moccasins sitting outside of your lodge, that would, for us, would mean a divorce.
Wow.
But, you know,
so the woman can decide that she no longer wants the relationship.
She has to have reason.
She has to have reason,
she
but
can't.
yeah, well, it's like if I was a leader of 1,000 people, and no matter how many votes I passed, the woman would have the last say, or the clan mothers would have the last say. So
I like that. I like that.
we hold women very highly, and before we make a decision, we always consult either the one that you're with or the clan mothers, and then you have a meeting about
Really, even the chief warrior
Has to go to the clan mothers.
has to go to the clan mothers. Did you hear that? Okay.
It's a balance between the war takers and the life givers. You know?
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
No
It
problem.
was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Okay.